Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 4, Text 11. Devi Uvacha
Devi Uvacha
Yasya Lokesti Atishayana Priyas
Nayasya loke sriyati shayana priye
Tatha Priyo Dehamritam Priyat Manaha
तथा प्रियो देहभृतां प्रियात्मनः
Asmin Samastat Mukta Vairake
Tasmin
तस्मिन्
samasthanmani muktu
वैरके
Nite Bhavantam Katamaha Pratipaye
कृते भवन्तं कृतमः प्रतीपयेत्.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Blessed Goddess said, Lord Shiva is the most beloved of all living entities. He has no rival. No one is very dear to him, and no one is his enemy. No one but you could be envious of such a universal being who is free from all enmity. So Sati is so angry at her father Daksh, and she's saying that Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is a pure devotee. A pure devotee, he is sama sarveshu bhuteshu. He looks equally at all living entities. He has no envy. You see, we make distinctions between one living entity to another because we have envy, pride, arrogance. But a pure devotee does not have these qualities. In Bhagavad Gita 9.29, the Lord says, Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu. I am equal to all living entities. Similarly, Lord Shiva, a qualitative incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so he has almost the same qualities as the Supreme Lord. Does anyone remember how many qualities of Krishna does Lord Shiva have? Or how many qualities does Lord Krishna have?
64.
64, that's it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And Lord Vishnu?
60.
60.
60.
60, yes, that's right. 60, thank you. And Lord Shiva?
Is it 55?
That's right. Thank you. Yes, Lord Shiva has 55. And Lord Brahma or any perfected living entity?
50. 52. 78%. We are 78%.
78%, that's right. So 50 qualities. 50. Thank you. So therefore, he is equal to everyone. No one is his enemy and no one is his friend. But one who is envious by nature can become the enemy of Lord Shiva. Therefore, Sati accused her father. No one but you could be envious of Lord Shiva or be his enemy. Other sages and learned Brahmanas were present, but they were not envious of Lord Shiva, although they were all dependent on Daksh. Therefore, no one but Daksh could be envious of Lord Shiva. That was the accusation of Sati. So Lord Shiva is equal to every living entity, but Daksha has gotten envious of him now. He's like, why did my daughter choose him? Doshan paresham hi guneshu sadhavo grananti kechinna bhavadrisho dvija.
गृह्णन्ति केचिन्न भवादृशो द्विज
Gunamscha falgun bahuli karishnavo
गुणांश्च
mahatmastesha avidat bhavan agam.
नमस्ते श्रुविदवानघम्.
Twice-born Daksh, a man like you can simply find fault in the qualities of others. Lord Shiva, however, not only finds no fault with others' qualities, I'm sorry, but if someone has a little good quality, he magnifies it greatly. Unfortunately, you have found fault with such a great soul. So, a pure devotee, he does not find faults with others. Pure devotee is always magnifying the good quality in others. They may see something good in another person and they will speak about it. They will glorify that person for that one good quality that they have. But what we might do, we may like to see the faults of others. You know, so in conditional life, we are compared to the flies. Flies like to go where the dirt is, garbage is, where the sores are. And the bees like to go where the honey is, to the flowers. So the pure devotees are compared to the bees because they're always looking at the honey, the good part in someone. Whereas the flies, they want to look at the faults in someone. King Daksh is addressed here by his daughter Sati as Dvija, twice born. Twice born refers to the higher classes of men, namely the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. So, in Vedic society, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, and the Vaishya could get initiation, the Brahmanical initiation. The Shudras wouldn't get it because they did not have that capacity to study the scriptures. But whereas the Brahmana, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas had it. In Kali Yuga, everyone is born a Shudra. Bhagavatam says that we are all born a Shudra, and then if we practice, then we can come to the standard of a Brahmana, if we can qualify ourselves. And Srila Prabhupada gave that opportunity to each and every one of us, that how we could also rise ourselves to the platform of a Brahmana. In other words, a Dvija is not an ordinary man, but one who has studied the Vedic literature from a spiritual master and can discriminate between good and bad. So a twice born means one who is Dvija, means one who has taken the initiation. So the first birth is with the seminal father, and the second birth is from the spiritual master. So what does it mean? It means this person has qualified himself enough, has brought himself to the mode of goodness where he's able to understand what is good, what is bad. He has studied the scriptures. He's taking the guidance from a spiritual master. Therefore, it is supposed that he understands logic and philosophy. Sati, Daksha's daughter, put before him sound arguments. There are some highly qualified persons who accept only the good qualities of others. Just as a bee is always interested in the honey in the flower and does not consider the thorns and colors. Highly qualified persons who are uncommon accept only the good qualities of others, not considering their bad qualities, whereas the common man can judge what are good qualities and what are bad qualities. So Sati is calling him Dvija because she's saying, hey, you're supposed to be learned in the Vedic scriptures, in the literature. So you know what is good, what is bad. You know what is the philosophy. You can understand, you can apply your logic with intelligence. And here I'm telling you that Lord Shiva, he has no enemy. He's pure-hearted. He's always supposed to get a share of the sacrifice. But you're not doing all these things. And you're in fact not giving him a share of sacrifice. You are in fact finding fault in him and condemning him. Among the uncommonly good souls, there are still gradations, and the best good soul is one who accepts an insignificant asset of a person and magnifies that good quality. So here Prabhupada is telling us that there may be the souls who don't find fault in others. But who is the best? That who can see, oh, this person has a little good in them. Let me engage him in Krishna's service. This is what Prabhupada did. When Prabhupada went to the West, he was surrounded by, the initial people who came to him were mostly hippies initially. But there were seekers also, not that all were hippies, no. There were many people who were actually seeking the truth. What's the truth? And so they had read of different gurus. India was very famous that time for spirituality. And so what did Srila Prabhupada do? He saw that little good in them and engaged them in Krishna's service. So Lord Shiva is also called Ashutosh, which refers to one who is satisfied very easily and who offers to any person the highest level of benediction. So Lord Shiva is called Ashutosh. Why? Because it's easy to please him. Lord Shiva is very easily pleased. That's the reason he's very popular. That mostly, if we have material desires, then we say, okay, I'm going to do some austerity for Lord Shiva and I'm going to please him. And then I will get some material benediction from him. For example, once a devotee of Lord Shiva wanted the benediction that whenever he touched someone on the head, that person's head would at once be separated from his trunk. Lord Shiva agreed. Now just imagine what kind of a benediction is this? That this devotee, he's praying to Lord Shiva. He's pleased Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva asks him, okay, what you want? I'm pleased with you. He says, okay, I'm going to touch my hand on somebody's head and that person should die. What does it mean, Imagine. So, although the benediction asked was not very commendable because the devotee wanted to kill his enemy, Lord Shiva considered the devotee's good quality in worshipping and satisfying him and granted the benediction. So it's not a good thing that the person is asking anyways, because you're going to kill how many people? You're just going to put your hand on people's heads and they're going to die. So, but yet Lord Shiva is saying, okay, well, he has some devotion for me. He pleased me. Okay, let me just give him. So, but Sati accused her father. You are just the opposite. Although Lord Shiva has so many good qualities and no bad qualities at all, you have accepted him as bad and found fault with him. So Sati is saying, see, here was this person who wanted to, he asked such a boon and Lord Shiva still agreed to give him. He saw the good in him. And here there is no fault in Lord Shiva. And unnecessarily you're finding fault because of your accepting his good qualities to be bad. Instead of your becoming the most exalted soul, you have become the most fallen. A man becomes the greatest soul by accepting the goodness of others' qualities. But by unnecessarily considering others' good qualities to be bad, you have become the lowest of the fallen souls. So we can also try to check in ourselves. What are we doing? Is it that we are unnecessarily finding fault in others? Is it that instead of looking at the good, we are unnecessarily magnifying the faults? Yeah, because most of us are in that situation. We like to find the faults in others. Why do we like to find the fault in others? Because it makes us feel good. Makes us feel, oh, I'm so good. At least I'm not like that. So it feeds into our false ego. And so this fault finding. But the more we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, the more we can give up this fault finding quality that we have. Then of course this Lord Shiva, he gave the benediction, but this devotee, he wanted to test the benediction. Oh, what Lord Shiva has given me is correct or no? And so he wanted to touch his head on Lord Shiva's, he wanted to touch his hand on Lord Shiva's head. Can you imagine? Here, Lord Shiva is giving him the benediction that, yes, okay, you put your hand on someone, that person is going to die. And he's coming to touch on Lord Shiva's head. My God, such a predicament for Lord Shiva. What
Was
could
it
he do?
Durvasa Muni?
No, I
No,
think it's
no,
Bhasmasur.
no, it
Durvasa
was
Muni, right?
Banasur.
Bhasma.
No, it was
Yeah.
not
Banasur?
Durvasa. Banasur. It was Banasur.
Banasur.
Banasur had how many arms? 1,000 or 10,000? 1,000 arms maybe. And he was playing the drum for Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva was dancing very nicely, and he got so happy. He said, "You asked me a benediction." So then what could Lord Shiva do? This guy is coming running behind him to touch his hand on Lord Shiva's head. Lord Shiva went to Krishna and told him, "Please save me." So then Krishna, by his sweet, charming words, he, made Banasur think. He said, "You are trusting him? How do you even know that this boon works, How can you trust him?" The way Lord Krishna spoke, Banasur got, so illusioned by it. He got so charmed by Krishna's words. And Krishna said, "You try it, I don't even think it works. You try, put your hand on your head." And the guy, no, then that's not Banasur. The Banasur is the guy who played the drums, and Lord Krishna
Bhasmasur.
cut off
I
his
think it's
Huh?
Bhasmasur. Sorry, it's Bhasmasur.
Bhasmasur. Bhasmasur.
Bhasmasur.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bhasma. So then he put his hand on his own head, and that's how he died. So that's what Lord Shiva does. He's so easily pleased, and he gives benedictions, but sometimes he gets into problem also. And then when he gets into a problem, then he goes to Lord Krishna to help him. So then, reading on. Ascharyametadyatas susarvada
Ascharyan etadiyat astasu sarvada
mahadvininda kunapatmavadishu
Vininda Bhavanishu
Ishya Mahapurusha Padapam Subhe
Shisham Padapam Shubhir
Nirastate Sutad Eva Shobhanam. It is not wonderful for persons who have accepted the transient material body as the self to engage always in deriding great souls. Such envy on the part of materialistic persons is very good because that is the way they fall down. They are diminished by the dust of the feet of great personalities. Everything depends on the strength of the recipient. For example, due to the scorching sunshine, many vegetables and flowers dry up, and many grow luxuriantly. Thus, it is the recipient that causes the growth and dwindling. So here Prabhupada is giving us the analogy of how to understand. He's saying that the sunshine is very, very, very strong, but some vegetables may die, but some may grow very well. So it depends on the quality of the vegetable. It depends on the quality of the person receiving. Similarly, Mahi Yasham Padarajo Abhisheka, the dust of the lotus feet of great personalities, offers all good to the recipient, but the same dust can also do harm. Those who are offenders at the lotus feet of a great personality dry up, their godly qualities diminish. So the dust of the lotus feet of a devotee, we are advised to take the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee. Just by taking the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee, we can get liberation. We can get out of the material world. Now, the same very dust, the very same dust, if we are offenders, it can, Prabhupada is saying, it can diminish our good qualities. Why? Because we are being an offender. When we offend a pure devotee, then Krishna takes that offense personally. And that's the first offense to the holy name of the Lord. Krishna does not like us to offend his devotees. A great soul may forgive offenses, but Krishna does not excuse offenses to the dust of that great soul's feet, just as one can tolerate the scorching sunshines on one's head, but cannot tolerate the scorching sunshine on one's feet. So if it's really, really hot, you know, if it's really hot, our head is still okay, but we can't walk on that sand or that really hot ground. Our feet really burn. So Prabhupada is giving a nice example. He's saying Krishna, his personal offenses, he lets it go easily. But when his devotees are offended, then he does not let it go easily. So yeah, it's true, no? When the ground is very hot and if we have to walk on it barefoot, it really burns. But if we have shoes on and it's really that same heat, and that same heat is going on our head, it's still all right. We can at least walk. Does anyone remember any pastime where Krishna does not excuse the offense of his devotee?
I think it is between that Durvasa
Ambarish.
Muni and Ambarish.
Ambarish Maharaj.
That's right.
Yeah.
And even Prahlad Maharaj, when the father did hurt so much to Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu, he did not spare Hiranyakashipu either.
Yeah, when he was trying to harm. But
Harm,
offense,
yeah.
we say for Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa.
Yeah, offense is
because Durvasa
especially
was
big.
offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in Chaitanya Leela, there is a pastime where Devananda Pandit was a reciter of Bhagavatam. He was a teacher of Bhagavatam, but he had not yet understood he had not yet understood the real meaning of Bhagavatam. And so once Srivas Pandit was sitting in his assembly hearing the Devananda Pandit reading the Bhagavatam. And Srivas Pandit, because he is a pure devotee, as soon as he heard the Bhagavatam verses, he went into an ecstasy. When the devotees get ecstatic, then they lose the bodily control. And so the servants of Devananda Pandit, the disciples, they could not understand that Srivas Thakur is a pure devotee. These are ecstatic symptoms. And they picked him up and they threw him out. They threw him out of there. And then Lord Chaitanya took that offense personally. And later, Lord Chaitanya told Devananda Pandit, you offended Srivas Thakur. You need to ask for forgiveness from Srivas Pandit. And then Devananda Pandit, he asked for forgiveness. And then Devananda Pandit also he got great benediction from Lord Chaitanya.
Wow.
So like that, there
So
are
even-
pastimes.
So even the Jadai Madai, when they hit Nityananda Prabhu, is it considered an offense?
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
what I was thinking the same. Yeah.
That's right. Yes, Jaga and Madai also.
Mm.
Krishna Lord Chaitanya took it personally. He took that offense personally. Yes. So this is how Krishna, because the devotees become so dear to Krishna. Krishna says, the devotee knows no one but me, and I know no one but the devotee. The devotee is always thinking of me, and I am always thinking of the devotee. So there is that love. It's a bond. It's a relationship based on love. So it's like us, like when we have some loved one and another person is insulting that person who we are really attached to, we feel insulted. We say, hey, what do you mean? It's not like this. Same, Krishna does the same. Krishna is a person. He's the supreme person. He has feelings, transcendental feelings. It's all transcendental, all on the spiritual platform. So offenses are generally committed by persons who falsely identify with the impermanent body. King Daksh was deeply engrossed in a misconception because he identified the body with the soul. He offended the lotus feet of Lord Shiva because he thought that his body, being the father of the body of Sati, was superior to Lord Shiva's. So Daksh was thinking he's superior to Lord Shiva. Why? Because he's the father of Sati. So because he's the father of Sati, so in the hierarchy, he becomes the father-in-law of Shiva. So he's like, I'm the superior. You should be offering respect to me. Generally, less intelligent men misidentify in that way and they act in the bodily concept of life. Thus, they are subject to commit more and more offenses at the lotus feet of great souls. One who has such a concept of life is considered to be in the class of animals like cows and asses. So it's not that, or if somebody becomes a devotee, they say, I'm not going to offer obeisances to anyone. No, Lord Shiva was saying to Sati that I'm always offering obeisances to Vasudeva. And because Lord Vasudeva is in everyone's heart as the Paramatma, Lord Shiva is offering obeisances to everyone. So he was also offering obeisances to Daksh, to the Paramatma in the body of Daksh. Obeisances are to be offered to the Paramatma who's inside the body, not to the body. We think, oh, they are offering obeisances to me, but it's actually for the Paramatma. So it's not that we say, oh, now that I've become a devotee, I'm not going to offer obeisances to someone. No, we are offering obeisances to the Paramatma who is present within the body. And we cannot
also-
imitate Lord Shiva. Yes.
Right. Yeah, and also because Lord Shiva was in the meditative mood, his eyes were closed, right, in samadhi. So
Yeah, he was in Samadhi. That's right. Yes. He was
he
in
didn't know what
Samadhi.
was happening outside. Yeah.
That's right. And he said that he's constantly offering obeisances because we may try to do that. Oh yes, I was closing my eyes and I was in samadhi too. But we cannot imitate Lord Shiva.
Mm.
Yeah. And Lord Shiva is constantly offering obeisances to Krishna. He himself said it. So just putting in a word because we may sometimes misuse for
Yeah.
our benefit some way. Okay. Thank you so much for listening and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Very
Hare Om.